So today we're going to talk paint protection film. We have a brand new Austin build Tesla Model Y here that we recently added to the family, and we need to protect it. We want to put paint protection film on it, but rather than go somewhere and have them do it, we're gonna try one of the DIY kits. We'll go ahead and walk you through the entire install steps. Now keep in mind, I have never installed PPF before, so I think this will really give you a first time user experience. And I'll go ahead and link everything down below in case you guys wanna give this a shot yourself. This is a great way to save money. I know depending on where you go and depending on where you are in the country, the price of PPF can range. You can pay anywhere from a couple thousand for the front end alone, all the way up to like $7,000 to $10,000 for a full vehicle PPF wrap. That's a lot of money for a lot of people. So this kit is a great way to save some money and actually do it yourself. So to prep for the PPF, we went ahead and gave it a really good wash all over. You really want to get as much of the contaminants off as possible. Now this being a brand new car, it actually makes life a lot easier because there's less likely to be all kinds of gunk on it. So my advice is if you're going to do this PPF, do it almost immediately after you buy the car. Really save yourself a lot of time in having to clean and really make sure everything is perfect. It really does help a lot. Now after the regular wash, we're going to go ahead and do a strip wash. Then what we went ahead and did is use the strip wash, filled one of the red bottles with a solution of that, and went ahead and clay barred the front end. So front end, we did the hood, the fenders, and the front bumper, as well as the mirrors. Anything that we're going to really cover with the PPF, that's what we did. And then gave it a complete rinse. Now, luckily I have the Adams Polishes whole setup when it comes to washing vehicles. So we have the RODI unit on there. So I don't have to worry about water spots. But when you're doing this, you really need to be mindful. It's better to do it early morning or late afternoon or when it's kind of shady. You don't really want the sun beating down on the car. So oftentimes you'll see what I ended up having to do is keep re-wetting the car because you don't want any of the soap or anything to dry on the car. Get those edges clean, and all we're gonna do is take a microfiber cloth, saturate it in the alcohol solution, and just go through all these edges, all those. We're gonna go around the entire lip of the hood, so we're gonna have to pop that so we can clean that. Anything that the PPF could wrap around, you wanna make sure is super, super clean. Okay, so all we're doing now is really soaking the back of the PPF with our slip solution. Now, I don't really have a big table to work on, so I'm actually using the Model S rear trunk, but honestly, it probably would have been easier if I used the front, like the hood, because this is kind of slipping down just a little bit. It's okay. So we'll bring all this over here. And then again, spray this, make sure it's very heavily sprayed so that everything moves around nicely. This is a little easier with two people, but I mean, it's easily doable with one, as you can see. I hate this chrome tee with a passion, but we have some stuff from Abstract Ocean that'll help cover that up. So I'm not too worried about it at the end of the day, but you can see how like easily this moves around. That's what we really want. So what we'll go ahead and do now is squeegees. These are gonna be your best friend. So this is like the giant one. Secret about some other items going on this car. But they have like a bunch of different sizes. So like sometimes these other sizes work better smaller. So you can use either one, but like around the T, use the smaller chisel. That's gonna really help get into these angles. And then maybe for like the bulk of this, we're gonna use this because we need like something big here. So what we're gonna do is just kind of tack in these corners, and you can kind of see it's angled, and then you have these little wings on it. So what we wanna do is kind of just get that right in the corner like that and tack it in. And we'll do the same thing on this side. We're just gonna have to kind of move this whole thing up just a little bit. And if you need to, this is where you use your tack solution, which is your alcohol solution. That'll really get things to hold a lot better. We're gonna kind of take all this film and pull this down being careful how we stretch it. Make sure we stretch it evenly. Make sure that looks good. If you're not happy with it, just kind of peel it up a little bit, but don't pull from the edges. That's not a great way to do this. You kind of really want to just kind of put some hands up here and just kind of pull the whole thing down. If you pull from the edges, you're liable to stretch part of it in a spot that you don't want. So we'll just go ahead, tack that in. And now what we'll go ahead and do is I like to do a line up or down the middle, either way. And then we're gonna just work on one side and just squeegee everything out. You can see those big bubbles, those are gonna work their way out, so you don't have to worry too much about them. If you feel like your squeegee is catching, put more of your slip solution down. You do not want to like pull this or have it get caught on any of that. So if it feels like it's catching, more slip solution. It's not gonna hurt anything. The hood is definitely what I would start with. It's probably gonna be the easiest one out of everything, so. You do have all these edges that we're gonna have to wrap, but that's okay. So now that we have got everything in place, everything looks good, but you can see we've got a lot of bubbles. Some of it's actually kind of creeping back into the hood. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our Tech solution here, and we're gonna just go ahead and spray kind of like all through here, lifting this up just a little bit. And this is going to help us set all of the edges. And this is gonna prevent water from coming back up, but it really helps give it a much better look. And we're also in that same process trying to get rid of and flush a lot of that soap solution so that we can dry everything out. So basically what we're gonna do here is kind of work your way and just kind of go like this. You don't need these to like all fold under right now. We'll do that at a later time, but now we're just gonna wait. So it's best to give this like an hour or two and just kind of let it sit. Make sure you leave your garage door closed. You really don't want any dust or anything getting on any of this. And then I would just let it sit. You want it to kind of dry up a little bit, and then it'll wrap around these edges and secure so much easier. So while this is doing its thing, we're gonna go ahead and get started on this. So I'm gonna just watch that piece, get it stuck to the car. Make sure everything is kind of stuck here a little bit. We're really good movement wise. We'll go ahead and try to just get some of these big bubbles out. So the spot we're gonna focus on first is gonna be right up here. And so what we're gonna do is just kind of get this a little loose here. We're gonna kind of see where we want it, make sure it kind of lines up how we like. And don't worry too much about this, we'll deal with all that in a minute. But get the top lined up right around here and coming down lined up. And then once you kind of have it, I'll peel it back a bit and spray our alcohol tack solution like that. And so we're just gonna push that solution out, don't push it back down in. Okay, happy with that. You will need a little bit of a stretch, so just make sure this is nice and loose here. If we need to, we can always spray some of our slip solution up in here to make sure we're good. And we're gonna push it and making sure all of this is exactly how we want it. And then we're just gonna do a lot of work right here. We'll need some more of our slip, I can already tell. And same thing kind of with the hood. If you keep getting some fingers right here, spray it a lot with tack solution, let it sit for like an hour, and then you can come back and it'll sit really, really nice after that. Okay, so that side is good as well. Now I still have about 30 minutes to an hour to give this 1 to 2 hours up here to kind of dry out to fold over. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and do this other fender. We're just gonna time lapse this one though, since we showed it to you on the other side. So we'll see you guys in just a minute. So it has been an hour or so now. We've done the 2 fenders, but it's time to start rolling this. This has had ample time to dry. So as you can kind of see, we're just rolling it right under, and it is actually very, very easy. I suggest using a microfiber just so it glides smoothly. And you just want to kind of work your way. You don't want to do just like one spot and go from there. You want to just fold everything just a little bit. Just a little bit more, just a little bit more. And so we're gonna work on this front part right here to here, where those 2 notches are. We'll just keep pushing it down. And as you can see here, we're getting rid of like all those fingers like almost immediately. Just a matter of just letting this dry just enough to where it gets really, really sticky, and then we just fold it right down. We have a few bubbles right here. That's because of a paint defect from Tesla, so not much we can do about that now. Talk about a nice wrapped edge. Woo, love it. But yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and do this to all of the edges. Now the edge down there, that's gonna be the trickiest, so it's gonna be kind of a weird angle. So all we have left now are the side mirrors, as well as the front bumper. However, I was originally concerned with the front bumper, but based on how like these turned out, I'm actually pretty confident in the bumper now. Now you can still see there's still some bubbles under here. Those should all dissipate and evaporate and everything within like 2 weeks, I think. Again though, none of them are big bubbles. As long as they're like under nickel size, you shouldn't have a problem. That's actually not a bubble. That is just wet surface. But I think if I maybe even would have gone just a little bit slower, I could have gotten like 100% bubble free, but I don't think it's like that bad. Actually, this panel's even better than this other one. So maybe on this one, I should have just gone just a little bit slower and probably would have gotten it bubble free, but all the bubbles will come out within 2 weeks anyway, so no biggie. The Model Y is all wrapped up, and we went ahead and decided to do some extra PPF. So what we did before is we did the hood, then we went to the fenders, then we did the mirror caps, and then we went down to the front bumper. However, I went ahead and did the rocker panel. So the rocker panel kit actually has 1 piece, 2 piece, and then 3 pieces, which is a little piece that goes here. But since we already did this whole panel, I didn't have to use that piece, so that's nice. So we went ahead and did that piece. You can kind of see, I just followed the body line, so it's really not that noticeable. I went ahead and just did all this all the way up to this body line, so it's all the painted surface from here to here, all the way over, and you can kind of see the line right there on each side. So that's really gonna help protect those side pieces. And in addition to those side pieces, we went ahead and added this to the back. It's a piece that starts right about here. It's on this top part and here, all the way down to this body line. So it covers all this, all the way to this side. So that's really nice. It basically kind of lines up with this plastic piece on this side, this plastic piece on this side, but covers all this. So as you can see, we have the dog cover in there right now. And when the dog's coming in and out, if the dog misses and gets any claws on here, it's at least covered with that PPF. So that's actually a really nice piece as well. But I mean, having been a few days, if you look here, This side mirror is one that I did. Can't really see anything. Now if we zoom in, you can see that seam line right there. Now I actually think we'll probably put a mirror cap, maybe a carbon fiber or something over this. But like, look at those edges. I did a sweet job. I actually, like, with everything I've done, I think I could actually conquer this in one piece, to be honest. Not trying to, like, say it, but I think I could do it. But all this came out so good. The entire hood is wrapped, so you just have these two little pieces in the corner, but everything else is fully wrapped on edges. Everything came out so good. Now, there are still a few bubbles under there. I'm well aware of that. I need to put it out in the sun a little bit. They're all very small. So once it kind of sits out in the sun and heats up, those should come right out. But overall, like, I mean, these edges all look really good, especially down here. Now there is the seam right here. Now that seam, hopefully you can kind of see it. It's just like right there. It actually came out really nice. You can see right here. You can see around here. Oh, and we also did the fog lights and headlights, so that's done too. Overall though, I'm very impressed with the kit and actually impressed with myself that I was actually able to do this. Now, I have never done PPF besides those little like rectangle pieces before. So this is really my first go at an actual body panel of PPF. And I was actually really impressed with it. That being said, can you also have somebody else do it? Yes, because it does take time. The car prep time actually took quite a while because you really want to make sure that paint surface is good that you're sticking everything to. You don't want anything on it. So that actually took a while, but like the body panels themselves didn't really take all that long. So this is definitely a kit I think a lot of people would enjoy doing, and it saves you money. I mean, who doesn't like extra money in their pocket? That being said though, I'm sure that you could either A, hire somebody to install the kit for you, or you could take it to a PPF shop and they can do it for you as well. Now that is what I've actually done on almost every other one of our vehicles because it does take time, and obviously time is money. But if you want to try to save some of that and maybe you have a little extra time on a weekend or something, this is definitely a DIY project for you. This logo not matching the car trim has actually been a huge pet peeve of mine, but this will now solve that. And it will still keep it exactly where it should be. And while we're doing all this, we might as well go ahead and get these vinyl door handle wraps. I like the black, don't get me wrong, but I wish the door handles would match the body of the car just because they would disappear a little bit and I think it would look a little sleeker. But that's basically it for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We'll go ahead and link everything we used down below. Definitely check it out, and using code Tesla Inventory will get you 15% off of your first purchase. You can get all kinds of cool things like this PPF kit, the side PPF kit, the rear PPF kit. You can do the matte screen protector. You can do a center console wrap. It all just really helps protect your vehicle as well as make it your own, which we absolutely love that. But that's basically it for this one. Definitely hit thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Go and click here to subscribe, here for some other ones, and we'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.